Hey, welcome to the Rundown with Ramon. This is what I think is a special episode, and more so it's a special episode because it's a special topic talking about releasing guilt. We talk about the power of mentorship and more today. And each episode, by the way, as you know, in the Rundown with Ramon will help you live a better life or start and grow your business. And I'm so glad you're with us today. I'm Ramon Ray. I have 2 adult children, been married almost 30 years. I'm a 5-time serial entrepreneur, best-selling author of several books, international motivational speaker, and more. And you can get to know me better at RamonRay.com. So thanks for watching. Let's get started on the Rundown with Ramon. In this episode, we talk about 2 very important topics. One is the aspect of releasing the guilt that many people have. Many women have guilt about not spending enough time with their kids, especially those working mothers. They feel they're not spending enough time with their family, not enough time nurturing their family because God's given women this nurturing desire to nurture their families, and of course, because they birth life. But we talk today about maybe you shouldn't feel so guilty about things, especially that are outside of your control. Men are being guilty because maybe they're not performing at work the way they should. Maybe they feel guilty because they're not being the best fathers or husbands they should be. So men and women both suffer this type of guilt, oftentimes in different ways we talk about. And the message we talk about today on the Rundown with Ramon, especially in our expert discussion, which I really want to get to, is encouraging you to stop wallowing in the guilt and letting it push and put pressure on you and hold you down. Oftentimes we have to learn to forgive ourselves. The other thing that's interesting about guilt, sometimes the things you're guilty about are just the voices in your head speaking negative thoughts to you, but it's not reality. Other people don't think any less of you or worse of you. It's what's in your own head speaking to you. So my encouragement, my message for you today is don't walk with guilt. Now, sometimes you do things that you should feel bad about. You do things that you made a mistake and you shouldn't have done it. But get back up again and move forward. Don't let it keep you down. And one way to get over that guilt is to be thankful, to be grateful. And we talk about this. Lolita Walker talks about this, and Robert Kennedy in the Rundown with Ramon expert panel. Something happens. Be grateful where you are. Be grateful where you stand. Be grateful the moment you have, that maybe it wasn't worse. Or be grateful that you have time to correct it. And understand as well that there are seasons in life. I had a friend of mine once. His name is Asha. She's still my friend. He was going to MBA school, teaching in Sunday school. He had a family. He had a business. And he had a side business. All these things at once. And I said, brother, friend, don't be apologetic about what's going on in your life. This is your season. This is a season of where you're really busy. And that's okay. This is a season that too shall pass. So I wanted to encourage you, can't wait for you to hear the discussion we had about guilt and about getting over that guilt. Another thing we talked about today in the Rundown with Ramon is the aspect of mentorship. Mentorship is so important. And we talk about a mutual friend we have, Scott Simon, who's president at CMA, Carter Myers Automotive, in the West Virginia or Virginia area. And he's there in partnership with the leader of that entire organization, Liza Myers-Borges. And the point is, Scott talks a lot about mentorship, how he enjoys mentoring other people. And the mentorship is not just some flim-flam mentorship, but he mentors the people in his team so they can grow and be better leaders within your organization. Not only are they better fathers and mothers and better humans, but they also are better leaders for the Carter Myers Automotive organization. And that's a key part of the success that Scott Simon is doing. So we talked about mentorship. And my message today is that maybe you need mentorship from someone. Now, there is a difference between mentorship and coaching. And one way that I see it, coaching is you can pay for a business coach, pay for a coach who will help you for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you can pay for their help. And they have that commitment to you because you paid that. Mentorship, I find, is oftentimes and have to be a little different. Now, you can get your own mentorship by looking at the videos and audio and podcast and blog posts of somebody you admire, somebody you're watching, somebody who's where you want to be. And sometimes that mentorship can be actual one-to-one mentorship. You see somebody else, you hang around them, you add value to them, they get to know you, you get to know them. There's a bit of familiarity, I think is a word in there. And they begin to help you and nurture you along. So my encouragement to you is seek mentorship. Seek to be mentored by people you trust, people who are on the path where you want to be. And also seek to give mentorship, seek to give that gift to someone else. So listen, this is the Rundown with Ramon. I'm Ramon Ray, and I can't wait for you to join what's coming up next in our expert panel discussion all about guilt, freedom from guilt, and mentorship. Check this out. Hey, and once again, welcome back. Thanks for being here. As I say thanks a lot, but I'm grateful that you are here with the Rundown with Ramon, and I'm more grateful that I know we're impacting people's lives. Because Lolita and Robert, I've heard from some people that people are reaching out to some hosts, even me, on various platforms saying, I saw you on Rundown with Ramon. So, may not big as Oprah Winfrey yet or somebody, but I'm happy that we're making a difference. So welcome to the expert panel of the Rundown with Ramon as we go over some of the things I've just talked about. First, Lolita Walker, how are you? How's your family? How's your son? How is whatever's going on in your world, Lolita Walker? How are you?
I am doing amazing, Ramon. Hey, Robert Kennedy III. I just got back literally today from Atlanta speaking at the National Speakers Association. I'm feeling good, a little tired, but you know what? I'm so blessed, Ramon. And then to come on with you too, I know we're going to have a ball. So, hey, everybody.
Absolutely. Did you go for commercial or did you take your own plane? I'm not sure if your plane was in Atlanta.
This time, it was a hard choice, but I went on with Southwest Airlines this time. I let them do the work.
I understand. Gotcha.
And let me tell you, oh my gosh, let me tell you this, you guys. It was so nice. There was this gentleman on the plane who said, I have $200 worth of credit. And I want to get everybody a drink. There's 130 of you all on here. Whoever wants a drink, I've gotten.
Okay.
The stewardess said, I have never heard anybody do that before. And it was just amazing. And then, when I got off, she said, you were the only one that said thank you. I said, wow. Yeah. So this is just a reminder to make sure that you say thanks because people don't have to do the things that they do, right?
Yeah. Thank you goes far, Lolita, for sure. Lolita Walker, a coach to many, doing all kind of great things. Robert Kennedy III, what's going on in your world, man? How's your family? How are you? How's your health? You look great as always. Talk to us. What's going on with you, Robert?
I'm feeling great. My face is smiling. I need a nap though.
I hear you.
Yeah, just things have been busy running, and the deal. We hit the fourth quarter, and we're trying to end out the year strong, but also filling up the next year and prepping for that. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts right now. But I am, like Lolita, super grateful for the problems I get to have.
Yes, that is true. And you're right, Robert, you can't really, people talk about, February is slow or January is slow. Now there's cataclysmic events that we've all gone through, but in general, Robert, Lolita speaking in March is not because it happened at the end of February. No, she talked to somebody in December, Robert doing the big conference in June 2023. They didn't call him the 2 minutes before. Most likely not. He worked out.
No, I literally had that conversation this morning to get booked for something in June 2023. I had an appointment this morning.
That's right.
So, Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
you. So listen, Robert Kennedy, I don't know if you know this, but our fellow expert panelist, Lolita Walker, was just on TV, like the real TV that your grandmama can go, click, 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 click. She was on the TV today, recently, Robert, and what she talked about, the title, at least I saw the video here. I love Lolita to know what that meant was release the guilt and reclaim a bolder you. Feel free to take some time, Lolita, and unpack what that meant, what you talked about, what are some highlights, and then Robert and I will dive in and join you. But take the mic and tell us what that was all about.
Oh, thank you so much. Just think about it when you close your eyes and you say, I am releasing this guilt that is sitting on top of my shoulders. And when I'm able to release the guilt that comes with our everyday, then I can really get into my bolder me. So let me take that further, particularly as women. I know, I'm not a man, so y'all add in on that one there. But particularly as women, we are so nurturing. And sometimes we go without really taking that same time and energy back for ourselves. And so my thought is, what if there's guilt that's attached with it? What if we recognize that guilt? And sometimes we talked about it on here too, and it's not so gender related. I can just relate to a woman, but sometimes even with you guys, think about it. When you say no to some things, sometimes it comes with guilt. And that guilt sits on your shoulders. And so what I went on it's ABC channel 7 here locally where I am in the DC area, I was talking to folks that listen in and I'm saying, hey, here's 5 strategies to help us to start releasing some of the guilt that comes with it. Why should I feel guilty about saying yes to me or saying yes to this like this? How true is it, Ramon, that I'm never with my children, but yet we say it all the time?
That is
I'm
true.
Never with my kids. I work all the time. I'm never with my kids, but are you never with your kids? So that's just an example. And so what I talk to them about, and I'll leave these strategies here too, because yes, we are at Oprah status. Yes, we can get these 5 strategies here too. So I talked about getting out of your own way, right? Stop telling ourselves the lie because we don't have to believe it. And sometimes, like you two say, sometimes you just ask yourself, is this true? Get out of your own way, right? The U was about unlearning generational strongholds. I don't have to do it because my mama's did it, right? Some things we're still holding on to. Why do we have to make the mac and cheese that way? Maybe you want to do something different. Don't try it on mac and cheese. Don't try it on mac and cheese. Okay. And then I talked about knowing your strengths and how powerful this word I am is in denoting that strength, and how uncomfortable it is sometimes to say out loud, I am power. And this is the reason why. I am passion. I am committed. I am, right? Knowing that and then attaching that to I am Lolita Emmanuel Walker, just like you guys too. Oh, I can't wait till y'all dip in here. And then I talked about the L being letting go of negative nouns, these negative people, places, and things that are inside of our world. Sometimes we're going, but sometimes it's just this weight that's added. Release this guilt. Sometimes the guilt comes because there's these negative people, places, and things inside of our spaces. And what if we could really let go and know that it's for a bigger purpose? Even with you, Ramon, you're doing all these businesses. You have so many endeavors that are going right there. I'm sure guilt wants to be put on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then finally, I talked about taking time to retreat. Not only because I give some of the most powerful retreats in the whole world, if you ask Lolita E. Walker, okay, but it's really because when you think is that there's something harmful in your life and you are leaving it, you're withdrawing from it. And what if we are the harm that we're causing ourselves? And what if that's
and Lolita,
us?
repeat that last one more time. Just repeat the full name again one more time for us.
The guilt.
Releasing the guilt. Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I did the GUILT. Yes, the T was taking time to retreat, literally, and then reclaiming the bolder you. And you asked this before, what is the bolder you? It's that thing that's already inside of you that's waiting, your dear forgotten you that's waiting to come out. It's right there. Allow it to be released by releasing all of that extra guilt that's attached to you. Does that make sense? How y'all feeling?
It makes perfect sense to me, Robert. Before you dive in, release the guilt. My handwriting. What was the first? You was
Yeah. Unlearn generational strongholds.
That's right. Know your strengths. Letting go of negative nouns. And the T was again.
Taking time to retreat.
Love
and
it.
that those strengths right there for anybody that's like, there's no S in there, but it's really I am, like the power of owning what you're saying behind there. I am Lolita E. Walker. When I say that, what does that mean?
Got it.
Right? What do I want people to say about me?
Love it.
Yeah.
Robert, what about you? Do you go through a guilt-free life? Like you hit the guy's car, you're never with your kid, never with your wife, and you're like, ha, ha, ha. I'm just teasing. Robert's a good person. Robert, talk to us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I go through a guilt-free life. I don't know that anybody goes through a guilt-free life. I think it's really about utilizing the tools that are accessible or available to you. And Lolita providing that framework right now is literally a step by step, right? A lot of times the challenge that a lot of people have is that they go through these experiences and they know in a esoteric or big sense what they should be doing or where they want to get to. They just don't know how to get there. They don't have the bridge to walk across to get there. So it's really finding someone like a Lolita, a coach, a mentor, someone that can help you when you're willy-nilly just kind of spinning around, and they can break things down and say, okay, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. They may not be easy steps. As a matter of fact, they may be uncomfortable steps. But these are some steps that if you grab hold of faith, if you grab a hold of courage, and you're willing to access or access or step into one of these things, you are going to make progress and you're going to get to a better place. And so I just want to highlight the importance of a coach, of an accountability partner, of having someone else inside of your space that can help you navigate and walk through this thing. No man is an island. We don't create success or navigate pain alone. We got to get somebody else on our side.
For sure. No, thank you. And Lolita, I want to come back to you and ask, thank you, Robert, for that. What is, if the, at the highest level, the most egregious, your years of experience working with women, and I'm sure men as well, but mainly women, what is the symptom of what this looks like? Give me an exaggeration at the highest level. Someone who's going through this, someone who feels, very guilty all the time, guilty, and to get the right word. Yeah, release the guilt and reclaim a bolder you, which you talked about on, TV, your body of work. What's the most egregious way that the symptom of this comes out? You're like, Ramon, here's some common things that people are doing when they have a real deep sense of this. What's happening?
Yes. Here's some things that are common when people have this, honestly. When you're holding on to guilt and need to release it, it's things that you're saying to yourself. Oh, the example I gave you, I'm never with my kids. Oh my gosh, I'm working way too much. And these are all the millions of things that can't get done. It's always in the negative versus the affirmative, right? What is my win? Not looking at the gratitude of the situation. It's always what I didn't do, right? It's always what I didn't do, what I could have done. And oh my gosh, I fell short of this. So when you start hearing those words and those phrases, sometimes we got to help the person to pause, and sometimes the person is us, right? When you can trigger yourself, when you can start hearing these things that you're saying to yourself, because we know our words have power, right? We know that what we say out of our mouth penetrates into our brains and our thoughts. So when you're saying all of those negative things, it's going to just become weight. It's overwhelm, it's doubt, it's fear. All of these things start getting right here. And meanwhile, look at all of the wins that you've already had. And so it's shifting. This is the work. Is how do we then shift back a little bit so that now we can see the wins of what we've done, and that starts to lessen. It starts to take off, because here's the thing: you're either going to do it, you're going to delegate it, or you're going to disappear from it. If you're not doing one of those three things, then you're laid in a bed. It's time, it's seasonal depression that's happening, all of these things. So to answer your question, Ramon, it's really saying the things of what didn't happen versus standing in the gratitude and the mindset of what did happen, so that now you can progress further. Make sense?
And it makes perfect sense. And one more thing, Robert, then I want you to jump back in here, Robert. But Lolita, and again, pardon my exaggerations. Y'all know how I roll sometimes. I exaggerate and have some fun, maybe sometimes when I shouldn't. But what do you do, Lolita, if you're in a 20-car pileup? You screwed up. Do you then go back and say, you know what, but I filled the car up with gas. Sorry, I'm in a 20-car pileup. Like, how do you not over-index and just being Pollyanna or saying, you know what? No, dude, you destroyed the whole building, or you damaged all these things that you shouldn't just, it's okay, if you get what I mean. How do you not over-index too far,
Yes, okay. So we're going to go with the million-pound pileup that everybody now is dead on the ground, and it's just all of this stuff that's happening, right? The ground is about to open up. For me, honestly, I do find the good in everything, and I would just say, thank you, God, that I'm standing right here. Now let me see who I can help. That is where my mind goes. I know somebody's watching, it's like, what? That is exactly where my mind goes. It is. Do I have all of my limbs? Can I move? And then how can I help somebody else? I think it's really a frame of reference, and it's really your mindset, because these are these words, and it's not that everything is going to be okay. Yes, there's so much damage that happens in the world, but it is, how can I stand and not make myself go crazy at the same time? I want to stand in a gratitude inside of this moment, because here's the thing: you're standing right here.
Yes.
Right? In that million-man pileup right there, seriously, with folks that's not there, you're standing right here. And so there's gratitude in that. So now let me go help some people that I can to get out, because now it's going to hit in reality really quickly that you've done this. Like, it was your decision. It was something that happened, that you the reason why we're standing right here.
Got it. No, I love it, Lolita. I think that's strong. Robert, jump in on here. What do you say about what I asked, or anything else?
Well, I think that what Lolita said again is super important. What is your default? What is the thing that you go to when you're in a traumatic situation? And a lot of us think that, oh my gosh, yeah, if I was in this situation, that's what I would say. But the thing is, we haven't actually practiced the thing that we would say. So it's the thing that you practice, either intentionally or unintentionally, either accidentally or explicitly, that comes out. I mean, there have been a lot of great books written on the subject. James Clear, Atomic Habits, writes about that. Charles Duhigg, The Power of Habit, writes about this, right? The thing that you practice, the voice that you hear the most, is the thing that's going to come out when you don't have the opportunity to immediately quickly make a decision, or a split second decision. That's what's going to come out. So what are we practicing? How do you practice gratitude? How do you practice being, looking for the silver lining? How do you practice not immediately going to blame and shame and guilt when something happens, right? You've got to figure out how to do that. And Lolita's giving you some of the tools here. Again, I simply want to point people to being intentional about your core, your heart, your spirit, what comes out of you. What is that verse? And I'm going Bible here. It's like out of the heart the mouth speaketh.
Yes.
Right. And so yeah, you've got to figure out what's in that heart and know that you can be intentional about what goes there.
No, for sure. And one thing I'll say on this, and we can put a bow on this when I'm finished here, we can move on if need be. But I think that the reason I'm interested in this, Lolita and Robert, you can respond back to hear what I'm saying, though, I think is that I struggle with this. I cry very easily. I can feel myself maybe tearing up as I say it, but I'm self-deprecating, I think the word is. Lolita may have poured into me, I think, actually an episode or two ago on something else related or something different. I can't remember if we were recording or not. But the point is, so that's one why I'm interested in it. Now, as you both know me to a degree, I am a very positive for other people. I do wake up in the morning. I am very grateful. All those things that I do well. But for some reason, there is a bit of a self-deprecating. Somebody, says something good about me, especially my family. Maybe not here, but I know my own household. I'll easily know I'm not. So I guess that's why I asked, because I don't know if it's guilt, shame, but I'm sure there's a cousin to one of these things we just talked about. That's Ramon's own issue. So I'm talking to the Rundown with Ramon audience saying, what you're hearing Lolita talk about, your host, I suffer with this, as it were. Yeah, I'm a happy guy. I'm a nice guy. I think I am, by God's grace. But I do have areas I can improve. And one thing is as Lolita said, as it were, negative words that I say about myself. Things happen, I'll hold on to it for the 4,000th time. I should have hit the record button. That's an inside joke, which I won't get into. But Robert, you want to put a bow on this, Robert? Whatever you want to comment on, and then Lolita, and then we'll move on.
I love your vulnerability just now. And I even want to take it out of guilt and shame. We're not self-deprecating typically because of guilt and shame. We're self-deprecating because there's expectation that comes with compliment. At least that's what our perception is. And when people compliment us about something, they're saying, oh my gosh, you're good at this. And we're thinking that they're saying, you're good at this, and I expect you to remain at this level of goodness or greatness and excellence forever. And if you fall off of that level of excellence, oh my gosh, that compliment is going to turn into a criticism. I'm going to switch up on you, and I'm going to just start pointing at you. Nah, you let me down, Ramon. Dude, I thought you were a great interviewer or MC, and now you just screwed it the heck up, bro.
You spilled a drop of water on the floor. Oh my God, Ramon.
No, so what we're talking about is accepting the compliment, accepting who we are in that moment and in that perception from other people, and also opening ourselves up for the growth that Lolita was talking about earlier, being in that growth mode all the time.
Fortunately, Robert, we're out of time for Lolita to respond, so she has nothing to respond to. I'm going to move on. Go ahead, Lolita. Anything you wanted to say?
Of course. As I think about this, you're not the only person that kind of suffers with this.
Sure.
I also think it's about our upbringing. I was in a home where we received compliments all the time.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean I'm always feeling it, but if it comes, I'm okay with getting a compliment. But when they come like 5 and 10 and 15, and you start to look, and it's because of caring, right? You start to look around and you don't want other people to feel a certain kind of way. And so over time, what I do now, because I still do sometimes, if it's too much, I'm like, oh, if I deem it too much, it's like, but what I do for myself, Ramon, and maybe this might help, is that I really, in my mind, I picture a gift that somebody's giving to you, literally. And I say, thank you. I say, thank you so much. And I had to do that for myself, particularly as we are in this speaking and coaching realm, then people want to tell you what you've done for them.
Yes.
And so I have a practice, a habit, like Robert said, right? You have to make it a habit that I literally picture their words as, here you go, I want to give you a gift. And I sit there and I listen. It becomes a habit. It becomes a practice. And so I gift that to you right here to say, maybe when somebody gives that to you and then the second person comes, imagine them in a line coming to Ramon, and you just sit there. You can't move. You can't say anything but thank you. and you have to take it. It's uncomfortable, but it's for you. And that's their way of really showcasing to you that, wow, this is what you've done to me. So there you go. Say thank you.
Lolita, you was one smart girl. Robert, you was one smart boy. Y'all are some
You
smart
smart.
people. No,
You
but
so
seriously,
smart.
y'all are really.
You
Thank you.
smart and beautiful and kind.
You smart.
Oh, this is so good. Listen, Lolita Walker, thank you. By the way, before we go into the next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about mentorship. Lolita, just tell us what's the best way we can reach you. And remind us, we have new people here probably watching the Rundown with Ramon. Those who've been watching the show for a while know already. But tell us once again, Lolita, who you serve, who you impact best, as it were, and where those people can reach you. Talk to us a bit about yourself, Lolita.
Yes, I'm so excited. So excited. First, you can find all things Lolita Walker at Lolita, Lolita Walker.com. I serve a plethora of folks, but I really serve power women. If you are a power woman and you are ready to leap to the next level, when you're sitting in complacency and you're like, guess what? There's more for me. I'm ready. That's when you call me. When you're an organization, you call me when you're ready to shift your teams to action. You know that there's somewhere else you can go. You know you want to move fear out of their way. You know you want to get to the next level. You know you want some actions to look different. You know you want your people to be inspired and motivated and now shifting on purpose intentionally with accountability. That's when you call Lolita E. Walker, right? That's what you do. And I'm so here for all of it. LolitaWalker.com. Thanks, Ramon.
You're welcome, Robert. You're going to have to take what Lolita just said, edit that video for her as a gift, like a 10-second for the phone to come up, ka-ding, ka-ding, call, boom, something. Anyways, Robert Kennedy III, talk to us, brother. Who are you? Who do you serve? Who do you most impact? And how can they get in touch with you, Robert?
Hey, y'all. My name is Robert Kennedy III, a.k.a. RK3, the place to be, something like that. I'm my old school 80s hip hop vibe going on.
I was about to start dancing. I moved back so I could start dancing.
Yeah. There we go. I serve real estate agents, real estate brokers, and associations. I help them create messages that move people to action. And I do that through presentation confidence, communication confidence, helping them to figure out what words, what assets, all of the things that they need to incorporate storytelling into their messages. And not hopefully, let me take that word. That was a terrible word. Gosh, let me take that word out. Okay. Creating a message that will cause their prospects, suspects, clients, and customers to make decisions that will transform and doggone change their lives. So let's do that thing. If you want to get connected with me, Robert Kennedy III, RK3, go to RK3, that's me, RK3, that's.me, and I got all the things there. That's where I am.
It was the suspects for me. I paused that.
That's right.
Let me think. Ramon, you never talk about what you do. You never tell the people. Let them know, Ramon.
Yeah,
what's
Ramon
the deal?
Ray.
Come on, genius. Let's hook it up.
Wow. Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com, and as Robert and Lolita are as well, motivational speaker, host, MC. And I love serving small business owners to help them grow and succeed in business at zoneofgenius.com and beyond. So thank you, Lolita. Thank you, Robert. So listen, let's shift gears here, Robert. I'm going to turn to you first. Our friend, I don't know if you know him, but Lolita and I have a mutual friend, and I'll call him virtual mentor. I'm sure probably to Lolita as well. Scott Simons, a very successful car dealer in the Virginia area. And today he talked about mentorship, Robert. And one thing that Scott Simons does is very interesting. People are flying from all over the USA, as it were, and probably growing, yes, to work with what's Carter Myers Automotive, CMA, in the Virginia area somewhere. And because it's a great company. So people are flying their executives and people want to work there. So that's one. But interesting, there's a subset of people as well that are like, you know what? I need better leadership. I need better mentorship. I want to learn from someone successful, could be younger than me even. And when I'm willing to fly there, I'm willing to take a pay cut or willing to take a title cut, as one or two persons did, just to hang around Scott Simons, who's a general manager and president of Carter Myers Automotive with the founding partner. He always gives credit to Liza Myers. So long point, what I'm trying to say, Robert, is talk to us about mentorship, especially in that context when you hear somebody flying across the country, leaving their secure job to go to a new job just to be around a guy, or it could be a gal, but to be around someone else. What does that speak to you, Robert, about mentorship? Talk to us about that.
It's one thing to sit in your room and dream about being at a pool. It's a totally different thing to sitting by the pool and having the opportunity and the ability to jump into the pool. What a lot of people do is they say, oh my gosh, I want to be rich. Oh my gosh, I want to be successful. Oh my gosh, I want to have this business or whatever, and they sit at home and they think about it. They speak about it, but they sit at home and they think about it, right? Or they may take a step and say, you know what, let me go on YouTube and let me look up a couple of things, how to be successful. And then, of course, the ad comes on and says, you can be successful in the next 30 days if you only pay me $4,099 and you can be successful, right? So a lot of people, we think about it and we stay out of the space. The best way to accelerate your success is to get in the space of someone who has done it, knows how to do it, can help create a framework or methodology for how you can do it as well. And you've got to be in the space. You've got to find a mentor that can help you with that. And so attend conferences, go to their sessions, sign up for their coaching, whatever it is that you've got to do. Mentorship is that key that unlocks the door for your future, your success, and accelerating you to get to that space. Yes, you can be successful without a mentor. Sure. You can luck into and fall into $5 million without a mentor, right? But the best way to get there and the best way to accelerate that, and then if you fall into that $5 million, how do you spend it? How do you structure it? How do you make more of it, right? How do you replicate that success, right? You've got to have a mentor in order to help you walk through that stuff, because we don't know it all.
For sure. Robert, I want to get political a minute here, political in my version of politics, and just split the hairs a bit between hiring.
We're Ramonocrats.
All day. Vote for me. Vote for me. Between hiring a business coach, I give Robert $5,000 a month, whatever the number is, versus mentorship. And I'll just give my opinion for here first, Robert. I want to hear your point, and then Lolita, feel free to jump in a whole conversation. But I think one difference, Robert, I could be a business coach. I don't really have to know you or like you per se. I pay Lolita, I pay Robert some money, and they have a contractual obligation to help me for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the thing may be. So I think that's how I see that in one way. And there's still accountability, but I find a mentorship, as it were, often, this is my version, often there's a bit of familial. I think the word is a bit of endearment. Maybe, yeah, I like Robert, guy who wants my help. Robert, sure, let's roll together for 6 months. Or, you know what, come on down. You can visit me once every 2 weeks in my neck of the woods and hang out backstage and see how I speak, whatever. So it may not be that loose, right. But for me, I find mentorship is a bit softer, a bit, I like this. I like you. Yeah, Robert, I'll spend time with you versus, hey, here's my Stripe account, pay me and get into my program. Thoughts on that, Robert? Just so people get the distinction. If you see there is, you may disagree, between mentorship and coaching.
Well, I think there are different levels.
Okay.
For example, let's say that I wanted to be mentored in some ways by Richard Branson.
Okay.
All right. Or let's not use Richard Branson. Let's use Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
All right. If I want to find out what their frameworks were, if I want to find out how they navigated certain things, one level of mentorship is me finding out every doggone thing I can about them and literally following them and using them as a blueprint for how I operate. That's a level of mentorship in some way. Yes, you are correct in that there is a level of mentorship where there is the personal connection. It's somebody identifying you and saying, hey, Ramon, I see what you're doing. I see you. Let's get connected. Or the opposite, mentors typically don't seek people out. It's the mentee that really does that seeking. Okay. So you might find somebody. It might be Scott. It might be Oprah. And you're like, Oprah, let me bow at thy feet and learn from thee, right? Whatever it is, there is that. I don't think that there's only one model of mentorship. I think there's some different levels. Bottom line, you only know so much inside of your own space. You've got to get out into the space of somebody else who has a different level of expertise, who has a different level of experience than you do, so that you can borrow some of what they've done in order to move yourself from your current circumstance.
Yeah. And the only reason I say that, Robert, then at least I definitely want to hear from you, is the aspect, often I get emails saying, can you mentor me? And my answer is always no. but it's always no with strangers, as it were. And I say it a humble way. All of three of us here have audiences and people follow us online. I'm sure you all may have had that. So someone wants to hire me, even though I don't have a program. Sure, they can hire. I've referred people to Lolita. If you want to hire, that's easy. That's a transaction. But I guess that was my differentiation. Stranger, hey, can you mentor me? But I hear you, Robert. Lolita, jumping on here. What do you, whatever version of the conversation, I'd be curious to know, Lolita, do you have someone who mentors you? Have you mentored somebody? The aspect, just to, recap it here, we're talking about mentorship versus business coaching, or feel free to recap and talk about Scott Simons. I know you know him and appreciate it. Take this wherever you want to go.
Yeah, mentorship, I think I can combine all of them.
Please.
Mentorship to me is, and when I think of Scott is an informal mentor for so many people, and that is because of the familiarity, because of situations where they've heard him, where they've been inside of his presence, but it's also because with the stuff he mentors on, the guidance that he gives is not only relatable, but he tells you, and then you can see the outcome of it. So when I think of mentors, it's not only somebody that's going to be giving you guidance, but it's somebody with wise counsel. It's somebody that you believe and trust what they're saying. It's somebody that has demonstrated results for the thing that you're using them for. So when I look at Scott Simons, right? I've never met Scott. Can't wait to meet him, but he's an informal mentor. Absolutely. You know why? Because he's always giving so much information and so much counsel without expectation at the end. He's somebody that I've seen the results of where he is in the business world. I've seen the results of his vulnerability, just like you were right there to talk about his family and how he was going to lose his wife if he didn't make some changes. All of those things, you see the result of it. So mentorship for me is someone that is I'm familiar with, and I know the results that they'll give, and then somebody that's relatable, to be honest, right? So I have been a mentor for somebody, and I have absolutely been mentored. And sometimes I wonder if this has happened to you too. You've been chatting with somebody and you guys are getting this relationship going, and they said to you, oh my gosh, you know what? I don't know if I've ever told you this, but as a result of you saying this, I started doing X, Y, and Z, right? It happens all the time. And it's amazing because if you really think about it, that's a form of mentorship and you didn't even know you were doing it right then. But you are always, I would like to say, you're always doing something that somebody's looking at. And I think that people can call you, oh, Lolita, or Ramon. Ramon's my informal mentor, and they're dead serious. Ramon's my informal mentor. Yes, I'll call Ramon in a second. Ramon. But even if I don't have a chance to talk to you, Robert Kennedy III, even if I don't have a chance to talk to you, when I'm listening intently, you're mentoring me too. You're helping me to get to another level on something I don't know all things about.
No, I appreciate that, Lolita. It's an honor. And it's funny, not funny, but interesting. There's 2 or 3 young men who I'll talk about right now. One's name is Josh, and he's 30 something years old. And I heard him once, and I don't think you can't anoint yourself. I can't say I'm somebody's mentor. For me, I believe they have to say it. They have to anoint you.
Right.
And so, so years ago, I was at Melba's, a Harlem soul food restaurant, and and I overheard him tell somebody. He pointed, and he could have said my friend, my boy, my dog, any version that we say with endearment, right? But he said, that's my mentor, Ramon, right there.
Yeah.
Oh. He could have said friend, because we are friends. Now he's 20, whatever, 30 years younger than me. But point being is that was amazing. So, and he's someone over the years, we call each other, we talk several times a week via WhatsApp, in person, restaurant, eating. He's been to my house. I've been on his house, all that. So that's 1. 2, I can take my own son. My son and I talk again several times a week, business and life and marriage and all kind of things. And I'm privileged to say, I think that I'm his mentor, and he's expressed that in a variety of ways. I think of a young man, in fact, who I just hired to work for Zone of Genius and the Ramon Ray, everything I'm doing. He happens to be related to me. And I think in some way, he hasn't said it directly, but I'm his mentor. He's told me over and over again, I've learned so much from you.
Yeah.
And he's one of the people, part of the deal is I'm going to pour into you. And I hope he leads the company in a few years. But the point is that that's the level he has. We travel, everything. He has access to everything. When I'm on, I just CC him on everything. If me and Robert are talking about, ketchup or mayonnaise, he'll be CC'd on that call. If he wants to join, he can listen and learn. So let me pause there. But Robert, anything you want to add on this before we?
I want to be clear with people about mentorship.
Please.
There's not an age requirement necessarily. Right? Sometimes people think that a mentor has to have a gray beard, or maybe Lolita doesn't have a gray beard, but she could be. But there doesn't have to be like this 20-year gap in order for you to be a mentor. As a matter of fact, several years ago, I've been an entrepreneur for about 16 years now. The first 7 or 8 years, I was a part-time entrepreneur. I had another full-time gig, right? And I became a full-time entrepreneur in 2009. Now, there was this guy that I met, and he's about a year and a half older than I am. But when I met him, we were doing some small business meetings together. I got a bunch of other small business owners together, like a little caucus or whatever. And I invited him to sit with us. Now, he's a guy, he was running at the time about a $5 to $8 million a year business, right? And I'm just getting started. And so several years after, I was introducing somebody to him, and I said, "Hey, so-and-so, I'd like for you to meet one of my mentors." And I shared his name. And he responded to me, he said, "You consider me a mentor?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm watching you. I mean, I literally watch everything. I may not call you all the time. I may not call or get to in front of you to say, 'Hey, how do you solve this specific business problem?' But I'm watching. When you post stuff, I'm watching.
Yes.
When you say stuff up front, I'm watching. When you email, when you meet with us, when you're I'm watching, because I'm soaking up all of that stuff. And I'm not only soaking it up, I'm applying stuff and executing stuff in my space that makes a difference in how I move. So your mentor doesn't have to be this, Moses, right? Your mentor can be somebody your age. They can be younger than you are. There are a lot of different definitions and levels. So I just wanted to open people up to that as well.
No, I appreciate that. And Robert, one thing I think about that, and Lolita, feel free to to add in here on this comment. But I think that, Robert, one thing I'm hearing you say, but feel free to push back, I could be wrong, is that let's take somebody who wants to learn a complex software, or any software, learn how to do web pages, whatever it is. That's more transactional. I'm teaching Robert how to use Canva. We're done. So there's that. I think that's just instructional training, one way I see it. And especially when you talk about people younger, older than you, whatever it is. But I think that mentorship, I believe it has some sort of maturity, some sort of a longevity, in my opinion. Hence, meaning why it's not at age. I could be 30, Robert could be 60, but I could be his mentor if I have five years of experience in said work, or vice versa. It often is older, because older people have more experience in general. Right. But I think, to Robert's point, I think that's the key. I think find a mentorship. It's that person, as you said, Robert, I'm watching you. I'm soaking it up. I'm soaking it up over time. So I think that was beautiful said, how you said it. Lolita, anything you wanted to add to this whole conversation? Anything else that came to mind for you?
I was over here. I said, let me Google the word mentor. Let me Google mentor. And it says an experienced and trusted advisor.
There you go.
And I think that's a combination of what we all talked about today, an experienced and trusted advisors. So experienced because they already know, it's that wisdom that we talked about, right? And this advisor is because they have that experience. They're able to advise based on what they've collectively learned, like in life. So I love that. No, I think that it's so important to have mentorship. And I like you. I really agree. I like that you said that, Ramon. You said, I don't self-appoint myself as a mentor.
Right.
And it has to be put on me. Like the title must be given to me, like that little box. Here you go, mentor.
Yeah. I do think
it's amazing. Doesn't it feel good?
It is. It's kind of like a guy. If I'm taking us off the reservation, Alita and Robert, y'all just wave quietly, reel me back in if I'm going way off. But I think it's kind of like a guy and a girl or something like that. It's one thing when the guy, from a guy's perspective, I said, that's my girl. Okay, maybe, but I don't know. It just feels special. I don't know if it sounds different to y'all. Like when the girl of the person is like, that's my man. I don't know. I'm basically saying the same thing, but it feels different if I say Robert's mine versus Robert saying, I don't know. Does that make sense?
We get it. We get it. It feels good. It's all the stuff we've been talking about, to be acknowledged, right? It feels good to be acknowledged for what you bring into the table. I shouldn't always have to say that. Like, I don't have to tell you that. You already know that I'm your man, but tell me that, hey, guess what? This is my boo right here. Acknowledge who it is that I am. And then that feels good. Everybody has a sense of, I was going to say belonging, but it's not really belonging. I think it's just a frame of reference, like acknowledgement. And it feels good to be acknowledged for what you're doing. because we do a lot of work.
Oh, you know why I said that, Lolita and Robert? Here's why I said that, guys. And we're going to wrap up with this. But I said that I think I was watching the Tyler Perry show. I don't know what it was. You know, he has a number of Black themed shows. God bless Tyler Perry. And I'm sure y'all know what it is. It was, I forgot what it was, Kings or Queen or one of the famous ones. And that's what it was. The girl was jogging. The guy came up and the guy's like, you want to go to lunch? She's like, what? Go to lunch? I don't think my man would like that.
Yeah.
The other guy came up behind him. You know how we do. Put his arm around her and she was curling all up. And then he was just standing there like this. And she's like, you can ask my man. I don't think he'll like it. And, and as he was going, you know, as guys, he whispered in his ears, she mine. And kept walking. So I think that's
I forget the name of it, but I saw that too. It's new. I forgot. I saw that one.
So that was a clip. I think I saw it somewhere on YouTube, whatever it is. But listen, Robert Kennedy III, Lolita Walker, y'all are amazing people. I'm just so glad you're part of the Rundown with Ramon community. And to the Rundown with Ramon audience, listen, we're here every week, give or take, to serve you. Happy to be part of the Black Enterprise family and reach out. You've heard how to reach Lolita Walker. You've heard how to reach Robert Kennedy. These are real people, good people, validated people. They've been here for weeks now on our show. Reach out to them to help you in your business, in your life. They got some deep experience. Just don't call them and say, Lolita, can you be my mentor? Don't go that far, but reach out to them. Robert, say bye real quick to the audience and Lolita, you, then I'll close this out. I want to hear your voice, Robert. Say bye somehow.
Bye real quick. Bye, y'all.
Lolita, say bye.
The eyes, though.
I had to do it.
I love it. Lolita, say
your
bye.
Eyes, your face did it too. You were like, bye. It was the whole.
Yes.
Listen, everybody, this is Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray. So glad you're here. Join us every week for these amazing panel of experts and more that we have talking about topics that affect your business and affect your life. And I'm glad you're here with me today.